Hey, what's Pastor Nate Tyrone from the 4-4. Wake up, good morning. It's time to get up, make things right. Video. Every morning, start off right, and then we'll get on our day. This is a video about the Roman Empire, biblical history, as well as movies. There was a movie years ago. It was the early 2000, roughly around that time frame. And, sorry, my thing just stopped playing. Give me a second. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I have some background music. I don't know why it stopped playing all of a sudden. Just got quiet. Let's go up here. Let's play some. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. All right, so this commercial you see at the top, this is from HollywoodReporter.com. The title of this message basically is to talk specifically about the movie Gladiator. Gladiator 1, when it was created, with Joaquin, I forgot his name. I think his name was not Joaquin Phoenix, but it was another Spanish guy, and Russell Crowe, and another guy named Damon Hasu. He's an African brother, and my brother Russell Phoenix, a fit cat at the time, was playing a Spanish soldier working for Rome, and then of course he got put in jail because the son of the king, didn't like him because he was such a great man, and the king's daughter loved him, but he was married to a Spanish woman, had Spanish kids, he was living right. So, but it doesn't matter. Even if you're living right, there's always a woman out there that's going to want you to break your marriage. That's why when we see so many adulterous affairs, it's because a lot of cases, the moment there's a problem in the marriage, there's a woman right there waiting, and she comes right at you, or he comes right at you, and then you go, and then boom. So he is a man of honor, and he ends up becoming a slave, a Spanish slave. Now, this is a fake movie completely. It's not completely right, but it's got some parts in there we're going to talk about that are very correct. And as I'm studying Bible history and studying biblical history and in Western civilization and Eastern civilization, Roman history, the huge Rome, which is the precursor to the United States, one of the most powerful nations of the world, bigger than Germany ever could have been, bigger than France, Napoleon could have ever been. Rome was the ish. It still is the ish because of the fact that Catholicism, aka Christianity, prior to Protestantism, still rules. We learned recently that Rome had pictures of African Jesus that the world has never seen. So to the point where white people, and I call you white, say, well, it doesn't matter what color he is. If it didn't matter what color Yahweh was, why did they hide those photos? And in 2000 or 1,000 or 1,400 years later, Russia shows them, Rome had them. It's been known because it does matter. But then what whites would tell us is, okay, get E.V. Hill's opinion, a dead pastor that came out in the 80s who was ignorant of the knowledge that we have in America today, and use him as a person, as a standard. No, baby. Just because E.V. Hill did not know the information that we students are studying and researching doesn't mean that we supposed to ignore that. We got to always remember every new generation is getting new revelation. Every new generation has operated on the new knowledge they get. My generation will die one day, and the next generation, as young kids now, will get more than what we got, and we have to pass it forward. So in this particular movie, Gladiator 2, they're getting review bombed, it says, for 3 reasons. The trailer suggests a long-awaited sequel could be a big hit. Well, really, because they got a black man in there. But let's talk about why he's in it, and that's what this blog is about. But some fans think that way too much about the Roman Empire. All right, so this is by James Hurd. This came out July 12th, a couple of days ago. Listen to what it says. The action-packed trailer for Paramount's Gladiator 2 has ranked up to 215 million global cross-platform views. Well, it ain't coming out until next year. So they're talking about because we live in social media now, you got to put stuff out early, a year in advance. You can't. It ain't like 20 years ago where no one knew about a movie. We had to go to the movie to see it. Man, Hollywood, Holly Jew Wood was making lots of money because you would go to a movie, waste $10, $15, and go, "Oh, I hated that movie." Not today. Thank you for streaming. Thank you. I remember back in the day we had MP3 and we had BitTorrent where we got music for free. Everybody was angry because it was getting all this music for free. Now we're getting movies for free because of streaming services. And then guess what? Movies are angry. They're angry there, but that's okay. It benefits the customer. Why? You don't waste your money watching stuff that's crap. You want to know what's good before you walk in the door. So, Ridley Scott got an Oscar, correct, and it talks about Pedro Pascal. So they said they're going to put Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington. Now, who's Pedro Pascal? Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian. So all of us who know about Mandalorian and are doing Disney videos and got Disney channels making millions of dollars on Disney, making millions of dollars on YouTube channels, this is going to be Gladiator. But it's interesting. They use a black general. I mean, a black, Caesar with Denzel Washington's going to play, and then Pedro is going to be the gladiator that's going to fight. So he's going to be the slave. Why? Well, you got to start studying history to understand this. Now, there's a cohort, which means a whole small group of fans, claim that they're not entertained. Well, you know who they are. It's going to be European folk that don't want to even see that kind of history on film, and they're not going to go. Well, Paramount's official trailer on YouTube, watch it below, ranks as one of the most watched in the 24-hour period ever. Sorry about that. That's the alarm. It tells you to wake up, baby. Wake up. Huh? And that's on YouTube. Remember, YouTube makes millions of dollars now. So these videos that we make for YouTube, millions of us making them, billions of us making them, billions of dollars being made for the owners of YouTube, which are Jewish, as well as, of course, Hollywood figured out they got to jump in on the game, right? Now, here's the interesting. Let's get on. Let's look. Who they got in this? You're gonna see this stuff in a minute. Don't forget about this. This is articles. While waiting the comments on the video and on Twitter, seemed to be three reasons for the backlash. Two are specific in the way the trailer was put together, not reflective of the overall feelings of the film. Okay, it's 3 minutes long, so people said, really. It's a movie trailer. What's wrong with a 3-minute trailer? We got YouTube videos that go 4, 5, 6, 8 hours long. We live in a world of live streaming where it's StreamYard, where we can have a video of Gabby Petito talking about her death and true crime, and that's one of the big areas of YouTube today. Someone gets missing, boom, money's made off of it. Crime of a murder, boom, money's made off of it. A quote unquote judge or does something crazy in Atlanta court, boom, money's made off of it. Killer kills somebody's captured, and then you go through a trial, boom, money's made off of it. We live in that time today. Now, it said that the super statement from this Hollywood Reporter that the trailer was too long. The second reason, and the most cited, is it uses Kanye West and Jay-Z's "No Church in the Wild." There it is. White people, they don't like black music. Again, you take a Jay-Z and Kanye West are two African Americans that white people allowed to get wealthy, become billionaires, but at the same time, they hate black people becoming billionaires. And at the same time, Jay-Z 55, so let's be clear, he is in my age group. And Kanye is coming up on 40-something, 42 or maybe 43. So we talking my age range, but Kanye, of course, did a horrible take to some people out there by saying that Jesus Christ was black and coming against the whole Ashkenazi world, saying about the fact that, and it's so true. What he said is so true. It's just that, how dare you say these truths to me? You can't say that. You're anti-Semitic and they're not even Semites. But the ADL and the game that's been played for the last really 100 years, praise God, it's coming down. It's coming down. Yeah, now in the world hitting hard. Too many people got too much technology to get the research, the reading, the knowledge, and the videos come out. And honestly, I'm so grateful to be alive during this time. I'm so glad to be alive in 2024 instead of 1984. Oh, it's a blessing. But I don't like the no church in the wild. But this is not about church. Gladiator has nothing to do with church. If anything, from a biblical perspective, Rome is the killer of Yeshua. Rome is the killer of black Yeshua. If you study Bible history, now we're going into the what I'm about, the ministry. King Herod, which was a Caesar, King Herod was mixed, as many people back in that time were, with African DNA from the same lineage of Esau and Jacob, aka Jacob. Esau and Jacob are the precursors of Yeshua, and we know the history of it. Esau was red and ruddy. Jacob was weak and small. Esau was a hunter, a fighter. Esau sold his birthright to his younger brother for a little bit of food. And then, of course, that birthright became the birthright of lineage of Yeshua. Study the Old Testament, learn about the stories, okay? And then from that experience, we're here today. Thousands of years have passed. But Rome has a big part to play. Why? Rome destroyed Middle East, aka Jerusalem, aka Canaan, in 80 AD, okay? Also, Romans are the ones that crucified Yeshua on the cross and murdered him as well. It's been told that the reason when Yeshua was born, he was a baby, mom and dad, okay, Mary and Joseph ran to Africa to hide the baby because the King Herod killed all kids from 2 years, 3 years old and younger because they knew that a Messiah was coming. But why would he go to Africa, I might ask you? He went to Africa because you're black. If I'm a European, non-melanated person, and I go to Africa, I stick out like a what? A sore thumb, right? If I go, me as an African American, go to Russia as a black man, I stick out like a sore thumb. You only go to places where you know that you don't stick out, okay? But there's the other side of the coin. The Africans, from time after the Moors, and have been all through Europe as well. That's why we have Italian women that have African DNA. Italian men have African DNA. Spanish women have African DNA. Spanish men. That's why in America we have Boricua and we have Puerto Ricans and we have Hispanics. We have that are mixed with African, black, Cuban. I mean, it's all hybridized. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, because of the hybridized, you can't call them officially black, but you have to say they're part black, part white, part Spanish, etc. But why did they put my boy Denzel Washington in here? Well, because Rome, like I said, Herod was mixed. He was white, or we call it, say, non-melanated, and melanated. And that's the better way to use the word white. Doesn't matter. That was a made-up term by Europeans in America because of the laws, Dred Scott decision, 3/4 black, and all that stuff. So, no church in the wild. Some are asking, why rap music in a movie about the Roman Empire? Great question. There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. But again, this is this generation. So anybody at 70 and up, okay, that 20 years ago was their time, it's over for them. The kids that were, the men and adults that were 40 years old in 2000, right, or 60 years old today, they're done. Their time. It's our time, my generation time. And 20 years ago, it's going to be, from now, it's going to be the young kids' time. We got to understand time. Time. Now, next part it says, so admittedly, a part of the Gladiator's appeal was what it was called an abashedly classical, yeah, a throwback to a scandal in toga epics like Ben-Hur and Spartacus. Yes, it was. And we all know, but they're not going to make a throwback. Then they had Hans Zimmer's, was a great, I mean, I listen, when the Gladiator came out, I had bought the CDs. I had bought every single CD. I would play Gladiator music as I worked out. I would play the music all in my car. And I couldn't believe it. It was one of the most, hey, as my boys say, not yet. You know, he died, my boy Maximus Aurelius, Decimus Maximus Aurelius. I used to memorize the lines of Gladiator. I feel goosebumps just talking about Gladiator. And the scenes of that epic film, it was amazing. It really was. Even the scene where, the new king has thumbs up or thumbs down, and whether you die, whether you live, and the crowd determines your life based upon how well you kill somebody. I mean, that stuff was it's amazing. I know, and we know, it's never going to get the same level as the first one, and because that was for a different generation, that was for a different generation. And the other side is, can Pedro Pascal even have the impetus of my boy? And we know who we're talking about. He's really fat now. He's in his 60s and his 70s. But the person that played Gladiator in the first movie, he had it all. He had it all. Could he do it? Now he says, of course, it's hard to imagine such contemporary music being used in an ancient Roman sequence. Of course it is. And remember, when we say Rome, we gotta say Italy. It's Italian. We got to make sure you put Rome, Italy there. Sometimes we always go ancient Rome and we forget to put the Italy, the boot, because that's what it was. And Italians ruled the world, okay? Next, he comes right back to the No Church in the Wild, and then which includes blood stains, the Colosseum doors. Okay, well, it does. I mean, think about it. What the Colosseum was. It was a killing face, man. We got UFC. We got MMA, we got boxing, and there's blood, but it's definitely a lot lesser than murdering somebody and watch someone get killed for just show. The third reason for the backlash, some are gripping about Washington's role in the film. Of course, bad. This, what the root of this video is all about: an African American male playing a powerful Caesar type figure versus him playing a slave in the first from a stranger that none of us ever knew until after that movie. His name was Damon Husu, and he was okay. Who was the guy? Russell Crowe. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Russell Crowe was the guy who was the main gladiator, and that person really set the movie off with his backup Damien. But in this case, it's flipping. But again, why? Well, because, number one, the young kids, they're the ones running the game. They're taking over, baby. And if you don't recognize that old folk, you're just going to be one of those elderly 80-year-old folks just ready to die. I am not that. I'm 49, but my mind's thinking like a 29-year-old, thinking the future, because they're going to take over. So let's look. It says some are griping about his role. Oscar-winning winner plays Marquinius, not interesting, who is a cruel power broker who keeps up a stable of gladiators. Now think about that. He's playing the broker. So just like remember in the first film Russell Crowe was, there was that famous guy who was like Russell Crowe's captor, and he was like, hey man, Russell Crowe's like a gladiator, Maximus Decimus Meridius. He was saying, hey, your king was murdered by his son. Your king was a good king. And that guy, because remember he said that the king set me free. I was one of the best gladiators, and I did such a good job. They gave me my sword, and I was set free. So then he becomes a stabler of getting people to become future gladiators. So in that sense, they're using that guy the white guy, may rest in peace, who played that amazing role, versus now in this situation, obviously, if this plays out the same way, Denzel is going to play that same person that's going to have an issue with helping people become gladiators, but I'm going to be judged. This is wrong. Is he going to die in the movie? He has to. If you go the gladiator way, okay, because that's not what made the movie great. Not how they lived, but what made it great was how they died. Yeah, how they died. Okay, even how the king's son died. And hello, somebody. So now it says the actor who looks like he's having an absolute blast, but some complain Washington still has a New York accent. Of course, no, that's a bad problem. You cannot have a New York accent in Roman times because there was no accent. That's the problem there. Of course, Washington's voice is so iconic, it might be weird if he suddenly went to a British accent. So true. Also, British accents don't make any sense in Rome either. Of course they don't. They're just because there was no Britain at the time. They just traditionally been used in Hollywood films for years and tend to feel right. British Empire have simply have won that as well because Britain. All right, so that's what you want. So and here's where it gets ugly, as we would expect it would. Some of the comments of what I did watch it in the film have been racist. Of course, I was walking that town. We should be expecting this. And when you combine that, white people was complaining about the rap song, and it looks like another, sadly all too familiar, toxic white fan away. For those wondering, and not all that, and not that it matters, but there is black people in ancient Rome. Yes, they were. They were there. That's biblical history, been lied on, been kept secret, been kept hidden. Okay, prime example, people like famed Roman officer Lucius Quietus. That's his name. His name was Lucius Quietus. He was very quiet. Also, anybody upset about Washington wandering around with a Roman accent? Okay, they're upset about that. Okay, will have to be upset until next year. Washington is also starring in Training Day director Antoine Fuqua's upcoming and untitled Netflix feature about the Roman era commander Hannibal, written by original Gladiator scribe John Logan. One more thing about Gladiator's music. Hans Zimmer, the great Hans Zimmer, he said, I ain't doing it. Okay, he already did a great one. He said, I ain't going to do it. So they're going to have Harry Gregerson Williams score the film. And it's really simple. Very simple. I've done that world. And I think I did it well. He did. I mean, you go back and you get the score for the of that whole. I could play that songs, about 20 songs from that album today on YouTube, and you would just be taken into Egypt, to Africa, to Middle East, to Far East. You wouldn't, not American stuff. It's amazing stuff. Now he says, and I think I did it well. All right. And all I do is set myself either try and repeat myself, which I don't want to do, or get it started by critics who say you didn't do it as well as the first time. You're right. We have a gladiator fight in Doom, right? Part 2. We have a gladiator fight in Gladiator, obviously, but they couldn't do it be more different. This is from the man who scored 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but okay. So he calling them out right there. The guy's saying I can't rescore Pirates of the Caribbean, but with Johnny Depp, they do Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he don't want to do Gladiator 2 to make his name great. You think racism a part of that? Of course it is. Now, my favorite top voted Gladiator 2 trailer comment, and there's the comments now. They voting comments and they're making them the top versus the lowest. Has nothing to do with any of this, but rather the paraphrases of the Game of Thrones. Now, remember Game of Thrones, another phenomenal hit on HBO, but it's about a what? White world, the White Walkers, a frozen white world. Blacks never lived there. You watch the whole Game of Thrones, you see the 4 families. There ain't no black people up there. It wasn't meant for us, and it's on purpose, and that's okay. But I'm glad to know it. So here's what it says. Every time Ridley Scott makes a movie, God flips a coin. After Napoleon, which of course is France, we're certainly due for a terrific one, and Gladiator 2 just might be it. Well, really the key of Gladiator is going to be Pedro Pascal. I remember Pedro Pascal, as we all told you, is they're using a boy because 72-year-old outstanding Denzel Washington coming to the end of his life. He has to play that role of the older elder now, and he's still gracefully aging as he should be, my beloved Hebrew Israelite. But the fact is, this is not about him. It's about the young, fighting, Mandalorian. If all of us who saw Mandalorian and grew up watching Mandalorian the last 5 years, we know how powerful Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3 was. And man, baby Yoda, all that stuff. I mean, for streaming during the COVID period, it saved our lives during COVID. Are you feeling me? So again, I just wanted to bring this out because the day is coming for all of us where the truth, and that truth is great. Black, African, or people from Ethiopia, Kush, the big continent over there, the huge continent that's 3 times the size of Russia and China combined, can fit in Africa, size 3 times the size of Europe, 5, 15, 20,000 times the size of Italy. Is coming up, and God's going to show His faith. He's going to show us because He cursed it. He cursed us in Deuteronomy 28, but He also forgave us through Yeshua's blood, and He's up there interceding for us right now. So Lord, we said our life is in Your hands. May You help us operate to know the truth, so the truth may what make me, you, everybody free. Amen. It's Pastor Saint Tyrone. Like, comment, subscribe, upload us YouTube, and let's go.